Welcome back to another episode of D2D Success Stories. Here today with Jake Nold. Welcome, man.
Am I looking at the camera?
This one.
I'm looking at the camera, not you.
Oh, what? No, at me.
Okay.
At me.
Dude, that's always like you come to these things. I've only done like 5 podcasts. And I'm
Yeah.
like, where do I look? Who do I look at?
Whatever.
Yeah. We're here. A little bit late.
All good.
Yeah.
All good. Hanging in there. So I'll start with like a little intro, and then we'll just kind of get into the story, dude. So rookie Golden Door winner.
Yeah.
It's fire.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Went out with grit.
Yeah.
How much did you do this last year?
660K.
Yeah.
Like, almost right on the dot. Serviced.
Yeah.
It's a big piece, at least like in the pest industry.
Totally.
But
Yeah. That's awesome, man. And going back out again this year, deep into the recruiting or?
Deep into everything.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, dude, recruiting is, recruiting is a tough one.
Different skill set.
It's a different skill set, but everyone says like, dude, go find 100 guys.
Yeah.
Go find 100 guys. And when I get to the turnaround, which everyone else calls is the off season, I'm going 100 guys, 100 like warm bodies. Like, what are we talking about?
Right.
We can find 100 dudes that want to do labor. That's easy. I can go to Mexico. It's like 100 guys. You start thinking about like, who do I want to spend my time around? Like, who do I want to help develop? Who do I actually want to help make money?
Yeah.
Who do I want to become? Who do I want to become like me?
Yeah.
Who do maybe shouldn't become like me, but it's going to be in my space and I want them in my space?
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff there.
A lot to think about.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack. So anyway, neck deep in the start,
Yeah.
which I love. Neck deep in the start of your D2D career here. Let's go back to the beginning, dude, and just kind of talk about where you come from, where you grew up, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us.
From the get-go, like zero?
Sure.
Wow. Was born in Rapid City, South Dakota. My mom is a physician. My dad was originally a body man, went to school at Wyotech in Laramie.
Yeah.
They grew up with not a lot, but everything they needed.
Yeah.
Right? My mom is one of 8, maybe 7. I don't know. My dad's one of 6 or 7. I don't know. Dude, basically German, Dutch, Irish families from the middle of nowhere, South Dakota.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
Which is like interesting in of itself.
Right.
But like, dude, generally speaking, like grew up what I would consider privileged. I don't think my parents would consider it privileged. Got everything I needed, nothing I wanted.
Yeah.
Until I was probably in like, maybe like 6th grade was the first time I ever got to like pick something off a shelf in a grocery store.
Yeah.
Which isn't like a big deal, but like little things, no matter what your journey is in life, like you remember them. And that was almost in alignment with the first year my mom got a legitimate job as a physician.
Nice.
Like I was already in middle school. Lived in Iowa, South Dakota, Minnesota. Finally, my mom's like first big girl job.
Yeah.
She was 35. Was in Sioux Falls. So I spent the rest of my like formative years in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, it's a phenomenal place, but nowhere I want to.
So you had young parents.
Yeah. They got married at 19.
Yeah. Because you're like
32.
somewhat of a teen when your mom's getting her big girl job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So she.
So you kind of like saw the full life cycle of like not a ton of money, and then later on a little more money.
More money.
Yeah. That's cool.
And what do you value?
Yeah.
And so like that experience was, my mom had my brother when she was in medical school, and I think she had me right after medical school, which mind boggling.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous.
That's heavy.
And like straight A student, like just a hard worker. That's all she knows. She's from the middle of nowhere, South Dakota. The only way you make it is if you work hard. And so like learned a lot from that. And my dad's the same way, but my dad supported my mom through that, that venture, if you will. And then he's just incredibly talented with his hands, super hard worker. Could build a car out of scratch, could build a house out of scratch.
Nice.
It was a good upbringing.
Yeah. What kind of kid were you? Were you into sports or?
Sports, but I think I was a really good kid. As far as I understand, I was a really good kid till maybe like 6th grade, probably.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. And then I went to a relatively, what I would consider oppressive Christian middle school in Sioux Falls. And I didn't struggle. I just didn't fit that mold.
Brought the rebel out of you or what?
Yeah, literally. Like just brought the rebel out. I just never fit like a certain mold.
Yeah.
And I would get some detentions. I got suspended. It wasn't like that bad. It's not like I got expelled. But eventually I needed to move on and go to a public middle school or a high school. And just to be around less rigidity.
Yeah, totally.
It comes full circle though.
Yeah. You have ADHD.
Oh, for sure.
Me too.
Don't we all? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I relate. And then sport. I know we were talking football before we started shooting.
Yeah.
Big football guy or what?
Dude, I love football. Yeah. I was really good at soccer growing up.
Okay.
But the thing is I moved to Minnesota when I was in middle school, elementary school. 4th grade? Yeah, 4th grade, 5th grade. And it's when you get older, you can't remember these things. It's wild. And I couldn't like play hockey. Those kids start when they're 4, not in 4th grade.
Yeah.
And so soccer was my main sport. And then I started to fall in love with football because I finally got to play like organized football for the first time. And I was athletic enough when I was in middle school to compete and do well, which most kids probably should be able to.
Right.
As long as they're not super fat. And if they are, maybe they're even better for them. But just fell in love with like athletics and sports. It was always an outlet. And then I was super sick in high school. So I started getting ulcers in high school when I was in 9th grade. Like, dude, you have no idea.
Just from out of nowhere? Or is there like a good...
So I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease when I was 17.
Okay.
And so like I didn't gain weight. Like I wasn't growing the same as everybody else.
Yeah.
And so like, dude, when you're a junior in high school and it's like, yeah, I'd love to play football, but I weigh 115 pounds.
Right.
And even in South Dakota, 11 AA football is still like, it's competitive.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, that's just call it a financial decision, a business decision. Like, sorry, boys, like we're going to save that one.
Yeah.
And so
not in the cards.
Yeah. Not in the cards. I did play 1 year, my sophomore year, in high school. Love football to death. And that's why it was like, okay, I guess I got to try coaching.
Yeah.
But I was pretty sick all of high school, spent 10 days in the hospital my junior year, got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, blah, blah, blah. Like laid on what I would consider my deathbed. Cause I went into the hospital like 110 pounds, left at like 124, I want to say, on like IV fluids and like calories, cause I wasn't able to eat for like 8 days cause I had a restriction.
That's wild.
Yeah. And so that's how we get to the football thing.
Yeah. So
it's crazy.
So you have that type of high school experience, you graduate, go to college?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you do?
So I didn't apply to college. My mom did for me.
Nice.
Because I'm thinking like, dude, when I was on what I consider my deathbed at 17, I was like, I don't know what the future looks like.
Yeah.
Like, I'm expecting to be dead by 18. When I was 18, I was expecting to be dead by 21.
Yeah.
21, I was expecting to be dead by 25. I turned 25. I was like, well, I guess we might live a little while.
Better figure life out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, right? It took me that long. And so my headspace was like, dude, how do I get the absolute utmost out of life? Like where I'm at right now, and what it turned to is like this kind of like I don't care attitude.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just gonna do things when I want to do them. Talk about ADHD.
Yeah.
And just do them. That's it.
So she applied for you.
Yeah. Oh, college. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nice of her to keep you on the rails, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I
had good grades. I had good grades. I was a good kid. I was a good student. I was studious. I knew what I needed to do. I was just never engaged in high school.
Right. So where'd you go?
I went to the University of Sioux Falls for a year. Then I transferred to Utah State.
Okay.
I went to Utah State the year that Chucky Keaton was considered a Heisman candidate.
Yes.
Preseason.
Yeah.
Nasty. That guy's good.
Yeah.
Was good. Still incredible human being. Like I knew him when I was there. I haven't spoken to him in years. And then did not literally a gap year, but did a year online. Because my parents moved out to Utah, so I wanted to help them with the property that they had purchased, and just put manual labor in, and spent that year like flipping snowmobiles and power sports, things you do in Utah.
When's all this? Like 2012 or 14 or something?
2012 to 2014 ish.
Okay.
Yeah, right in there.
Yeah.
And then transferred to the University of Utah, in person. The summer I broke up with the girl that when I was 21 I thought I would marry, which isn't uncommon in this space. Yes, I'm from South Dakota. Yes, I thought I was going to get married at 21. No, I'm not from Utah. No, I'm not Mormon.
Yeah.
Right? There's people like that, which is okay.
Yeah.
And that taught me a lot of really good lessons about myself, and bless that person and the best to her and wherever she's at in life now, right? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
God, you learn that good stuff once you get older. And at the University of Utah, dude, I just learned how to be a human outside of South Dakota, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. New you, new surroundings.
Yeah.
Just broaden the horizons.
New everything.
Whatever. Yeah. Cool. And what do you think you're doing with your career at this point in time?
From that point to this point, where I want to go?
Like when you're in college.
Oh, at that point.
Yeah. What do you think you're studying to be?
Dude, my life, I felt like had gotten derailed because I probably had thought I was going to do something similar to my father in regards to like supporting the girl I was dating at the time and her career endeavors.
Yeah.
She wanted to be a lawyer, all this stuff. Her dad was extremely successful, blah, blah, blah. So I'm looking at myself in the mirror, like, I guess like I'm going to support that and wherever it goes. I don't know.
Totally.
That happens. And it's like, I have no clue.
Yeah.
My mom had just started a nonprofit called Labs for Liberty, and we raised and trained service dogs for veterans. And it was it was micro.
Yeah.
And hard for me to say, it probably should have stayed that small. But I saw what my mom was doing, and I was going, okay, we need to be able to do this at the highest level possible, even if it is at a very small output level. And so I just dove into that volunteering initially because it's all bootstrapped. It's all 100% volunteer, always will be. And then help refine that and grow that and scale that to a point where I think our biggest year we did like 38 dogs.
Nice. Which
is a lot. And that industry is a whole different topic. And that was just me trying to figure out, where do I go? What do I do? Hospitality industry was entertained at one point. The military was entertained nonstop the whole time.
Yeah.
I thought about being a rodeo clown at one point. Yeah. Complete transparency. I went to bullfighting school in the fall of 2014.
So you're just a freaking free agent.
Experiencing.
Dude. Yeah.
Experiences. Literally, dude. Yeah. Which is good and bad. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it's funny for me to hear because I've always been like very planned, like my whole life, like honestly, like super planned. So I'm trying to kind of like fathom.
I relate with that a lot.
How this would be, you know,
that resonates a lot now because of the Marine Corps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why was the military one of the considerations? Because I know that's eventually what you did, you know.
Dude, so when I took over the nonprofit, dude, I didn't have like, bless my father, bless my mother, bless all the people in my life, but like I didn't feel like I had like great mentors.
Okay.
Like specifically like male role models. And so I started listening to like Andy Frisella and Gary Vee in 2015.
Yeah.
Like that's like OG for
that
those
is
guys.
OG, right?
Like Andy Frisella specifically, because he's still not like, he's well known, but not like Gary Vee is.
Yeah.
And I just started deriving like a lot of like different things that I would apply to what we were doing from him, just small little techniques.
Yeah.
And like how I ended up in the Marine Corps was like, dude, I just got to the end of my rope with the nonprofit stuff, and I built enough connections and networked, and the thing didn't need me anymore, that I knew I could leave. And the reason the Marine Corps or the military, I should say, was always kind of in the back of my mind is like, dude, I was always super patriotic when I was a kid, dude. Like, I remember watching the Twin Towers fall in 3rd grade in Rapid City, South Dakota, in the basement of our house there. And I remember seeing on the screen when I think it was the first tower, the camera was super zoomed in. I think it was a helicopter, super zoomed in, a news helicopter. And all of a sudden it looked like the screen went dancing ants. Yeah. Like right went fuzzy. Most kids these days don't really know what that means.
Yep.
And we're like, what? And camera pans out and the building's falling. And you're going, I'm in 3rd grade, dude.
Yeah, it's heavy.
I'm just old enough to kind of understand.
Right.
Is that my parents are super patriotic, grew up in the Midwest, South Dakota.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's super patriotic places all around the country. That's a patriotic place.
Yeah, heavily.
And it's just like, I just feel like in my parents' minds, like what was in my head when I was in 3rd grade, it was like, damn, this is America versus everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
So you're patriotic, kind of looking for the next thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you graduate college in there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I tried to quit many times.
Yeah.
My dad wouldn't let me.
It's good.
It is good. It's a very good thing.
Well, especially for the military, because a degree makes you eligible to go be an officer, right? Yeah.
Changes a lot.
My dad was an Air Force guy.
Okay.
So
that's sick.
Somewhat acquainted.
I respect the hell out of the Air Force. Yeah. No matter what anybody says about any branch, I respect the hell out of the Air Force.
Chair Force,
there
right?
You go.
Yeah. I know the jokes.
Oh yeah.
So you commission.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say enlist, but I know that's not what you
say.
Yeah.
You're good. You're good.
You commission. Yeah. How's that go? I mean, how do you choose your job?
Dude,
all that type of stuff?
So I'll walk it back a little bit. So I had originally planned on and this is so stupid, but this is when you're young, you just don't know what you can and can't get away with, and I'll make it go for full circle. But I'd originally planned on taking my brother's identity and like trying to join that way. And my spring semester of high school, my brother called me and said that he had joined the reserves.
Yeah.
And okay, well, that's off the table. Have to be happy for him, right? And my brother and my relationship, it's always kind of been like my older brother's kind of like my little brother in a lot of ways. Like he's always looked up to me in a lot of ways. And I admired and respect the hell out of him. Right. And so, okay, cool. That's tabled. And when I got diagnosed with Crohn's disease, like I already knew that's why I would have to take his identity. Right.
Because
it's a disqualifier.
Medical history. Yeah.
Yep. Gotcha. It's a disqualifier, hard and fast.
Yeah.
There's no waiver for it. At least I was smart enough to know that at 18.
Yeah.
And so I didn't disqualify myself later.
Yeah.
Because I would have to lie eventually, which I did.
Right.
To get in. But so fast forward, I had a ton of exposure to different guys in different communities in the military, tier 1, tier 2, conventional, whatever it was, every job, every color, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go 18 X-ray. I'm going to go Army, which is just off the street to SFAS. It doesn't guarantee anything other than a spot at the schoolhouse, as long as you can pass the minimum standards, which is like their pipeline into being your Green Beret.
Yeah.
Cool. Whatever. So I go on this trip, and should I name drop or no?
Sure.
Doesn't matter. Cool.
Yeah.
So I'll go on this trip, and we trained Mike Glover's dog. Good dude. His dog Pearl, and I had some time with some guys from different groups, ODAs, and I just didn't align with like their culture. And all the guys I knew from the infantry community in the Marine Corps, dude, they were just
a vibe.
Different breed. Dude.
Yeah.
Just a different breed. Just a different breed. Scary. Just scary motherfuckers. Right?
Yeah.
And I tabled that, the 18 X-ray thing, and some stuff happened at an event that I produced at Sundance, non-affiliated. And it just pushed me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to the Marine Corps, and if I'm going to be an officer, it's going to be a Marine officer. That's how I got there.
There you go.
Yeah.
And your particular job within the Marines?
I was an infantry officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that kind of assigned, or did you choose it, or?
The Marine Corps operates extremely uniquely in that you can either go in with essentially an open contract where you compete for your job as an officer, which is probably 90% of the officers. You can go in with a flight contract, which if you can pass the medical qualifications and the schoolhouse, you get a spot at flight school. Or you go in with I think they call it like a law contract. So essentially you just become a lawyer on the
JAG. Yeah.
But you still have to do the whole schoolhouse.
Right.
And what that schoolhouse looks like, we all go to OCS. And then we all go to TBS, which it's the basic school. The basic school is the most important thing that the Marine Corps does, in my opinion, because it's derived from Vietnam.
Yeah.
Because we lost so many infantry officers on the battlefield in Vietnam that we had to create every single officer in the Marine Corps as a provisional rifle platoon commander so that you could be replaceable.
Yeah, gotcha.
Right. And so every officer in the Marine Corps, no matter what billet they end up actually doing, or I should say what MOS they end up doing, has to go through that schoolhouse and learn how to be a provisional rifle platoon commander first.
Yeah.
But that's like, as an infantry officer, that's not where it stops. That's just the foundation.
Yeah.
And in that schoolhouse, it's interesting because like I aligned with my peers that had the same mentality, not unlike we do in the civilian space, or whether it's industry specific. Like you're going to align with people that are trying to achieve similar things. And so I actually had a really tough time at TBS, like a really tough time. I was ranked really low, really low in my platoon because I just didn't get along with the people.
Yeah,
like a lot of them, but I got along with the right people, and I hardlined that I wanted to be an infantry officer. It was a non-negotiable for everyone in my chain of command that I was going to be an infantry officer, no matter what. I was going to do anything it took, to the point where I would die for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Made it happen.
Yep.
Made it happen. And then your career there.
Yeah.
Just give us, kind of high level overview.
Yeah. It's the greatest privilege I've ever had in my life.
Yep.
That's simply put, it's the greatest privilege I've ever had in my life because leading 18 to 25-year-old men, being able to help shape their lives. Yeah. All different backgrounds, all different places. They have to come in and take orders from you. Like it's the UCMJ. As long as it's a lawful order, they have to do it. Yeah. There's no if and or buts. They say yes, sir. If they say no, sir, if they don't have reasonable justification to say no, sir, then it's hell to pay. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Which is, it's interesting. That's always been that way. That's always been how our military is. But I think society used to be a little closer to that, whereas society gets further and further from that. So, just the codes of discipline, codes of conduct, obedience, and all those types of things. It's getting increasingly rare. Yeah.
You know,
but it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Because, and this, the veteran space is interesting because like guys and gals, they all want everyone to understand their plight and all these things. It's like, dude, actually though, like I'd rather nobody understand, because that would, if everyone understood, that'd mean we're in a really bad place as a society and like as a world. That'd mean way more people are in the military and we're at war.
Yeah.
So I take it as like, let's just educate the people and let the cards fall where they will.
Yeah, 100%. So, and what years are you in the
Marine Corps?
The Marines, yeah.
I commissioned September. No, I went to OCS September 9th, 2017. I commissioned November 17th, 2017, and then I got out formally 4 years later in November 2021.
2021.
Yep.
Okay. So you're getting out. Jump forward 4 years. You're getting out. Getting out with a plan, or just kind of getting out?
Getting out with a million plans.
Okay.
Because more often than not, guys get out with no plan.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not no plan, but like the beautiful thing that the Marine Corps does is we plan everything.
Yeah.
Expediently, fast, at scale.
Yeah.
Scary. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
That's extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
And if we can do that in the civilian world, it's even more dangerous from a capital standpoint, what you can achieve, which I think is extremely relatable. But got out with a couple different plans. So I skill bridged first off, which Doge is going to gut, and we're already positioned to take advantage of that, which I love. Doge is going to gut that, but skill bridge is essentially a program that allows you to bridge your military career and your civilian career. And in the interim where you have maybe a billet where you're on your way out, so you're not doing a lot, you don't add a lot of value. If you've done a good enough job, they'll provide you the opportunity to get paid by the DoD and go start work with a placement opportunity with a company.
Nice.
So I did that, started that in June, did it with a nonprofit, started applying to jobs and got a job and said deuces to nonprofit. Yeah. And started working, getting paid in the civilian space 2 months before I got out, which is a no-no. And that goes back to lying at MEPS that I didn't have Crohn's disease. I just told them that my scar was from an appendectomy.
And what's this job you got?
I was a senior operations manager for an autonomous security robotics company called Cobalt Robotics.
What's like the nuts and bolts of the job?
Yeah,
what are you doing?
That's a big word. Yeah. Good question. I have no idea at the time.
Yeah.
So I take this job, move back to Utah. We have a command center in Utah. And essentially my job was co-department head our command center, which for that company was, I want to say 60 or 70% of their actual workforce. Yeah. And essentially I'm just babysitting humans, babysitting robots. Nuts and bolts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Walking around a room or doing spreadsheets or some of both, or?
Dude, we ended up doing everything.
All of that.
Yeah. So when I started there, I essentially got tasked within 2 weeks of identifying for lack of words, I was basically told if we need to fire everybody, fire everybody.
Yeah. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was told like, it wasn't like if we need to, it was like, you probably need to. And I was like, ooh. Yeah. So what did I do? I took 90 days with my good friend, Jeff Ventrella, who we met through this, who was an infantry officer as well. And we figured out and oriented on the landscape of what do we have. And what do? We retained every single person through December of that year, 2021. We ended up actually giving pay raises that December.
Nice.
And then by Q1 2022, we were identifying whose hours needed to be cut back so they would just squeeze themselves out of the business naturally from an HR standpoint. Yeah. You understand that?
Yes.
And who we needed to hire in order to actually establish the new workflow that we had been tasked with building to make the business more operationally effective. Yeah. But then to eventually outsource to Manila.
Nice.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Heavy.
Wild.
So, transition, changing culture, all the things.
But the COO was a Marine. Yeah. My hiring manager was a Marine. But at the end of the day, the COO got fired a year after I told the CEO to fire him. Yeah. On my exit interview. Hilarious, huh?
That's crazy. Next job after that.
So 7 months into that job, I was my hiring manager left. The writing was on the wall. Yeah. We had gotten through our Series B, I want to say.
Okay.
I don't really remember the specific details. And so I'm starting to shop. jobs, right? I just know like I'm going to have to move on. And I told Cobalt, I said, I will either lead the outsourcing to Manila because I felt like, oh, that'd be an incredible opportunity to do something super cool. Yeah. That's super different. That would be a huge resume builder. Or I want to move to sales. Yeah. Because I knew and believed in the product. And ultimately I knew our people were still the product because the autonomous robot was not nearly as autonomous as our salespeople were selling it. Right. Yeah. And so searching for jobs, corporate consulting is like where all my peers are trying to end up, or they're going and getting their MBAs, whatever it is. Yeah. Like ultimately that's generally where they're trying to go. And so I landed a job with Cicero Group in Salt Lake doing corporate consulting. Phenomenal group, phenomenal people. Yeah. I think they specifically hired me to work on a project that was with Wounded Warrior Project. It was a pretty big contract. Yeah. And
just to back up, why are all of your peers going to corporate consulting? When you say peers, you mean dudes getting out of the Marines. Yeah. Why is everybody going to corporate consulting?
Good question. Yeah. Let me see if I can flush out the answer.
It's kind of like where you can apply your leadership skills.
Yeah.
Basically.
Dude, consulting is so ambiguous. Yeah. It's a broad term. Yeah. What does it mean? Nobody knows. Right. It's super ambiguous, but I think what it is like so many people get out and go to target MBA programs. Yeah. And at the time, target MBA programs, like the most desirable thing you could do was go get a job at BCG, at Bain, at McKinsey, whatever it is, doing whatever it is, because what oftentimes happens is you go work in consulting, right? What's the life cycle of a consultant? Eventually, ideally, you make partner. It takes 8 to 10 years. Yep. And don't quote me on that. Yep. But really what it does is it opens doors for you to get hired by your clients. Yes. Yeah. That's why. Yeah. Okay. It's a fast track into a C-suite at a up-and-coming company.
So you go to Cicero, and how's that go?
I was not cut out for that job. Okay. I hate PowerPoint. I hate Excel. Yeah. Dude, I'm just a doer.
I'm doing it.
And so,
consulting's funny, dude, because it's like, it sounds important and it feels important, but they're leading from the back. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, dude, we can get into this one. This one's actually super interesting. I'm on the project with Wounded Warrior Project. And do you know anything about Wounded Warrior Project?
Just a little.
Okay. Yeah. So, how deep do you want me to go on this?
Not super. Okay. So I want to get into D2D.
Surface level. Wounded Warrior Project is an incredible organization, incredible company. I think they've had a lot of second and third order effects on the demographic that they serve that have been negative effects. Yeah. And so we were tasked with essentially, if I recall, helping stand up their PMO office, their project management office. For at the time, I think they're bringing in right around $450 million a year. And I was directly tasked with like helping the CMO do something. I can't remember what, but I have a lot to say about how we market to veterans and how we market to our donors in that space. Yeah. And I just wasn't the right guy to be in that space with those people because what I knew needed to get done, I couldn't say because it's consulting.
Yeah. You had to hold your tongue. Yep. Yeah. Understood.
Yeah.
Okay. Next job.
And I wasn't good at the job. Yeah. Full stop. I wasn't good at consulting.
If you don't have like a high belief in what you're doing, you're not going to be good at it.
I believe in the people there. Like I believe like the people at Cicero are good, and I believe the people at like WWP are good, and the people they work with are good. I just am not the right guy because of my communication style and my inability to be determined enough to get really, really proficient at PowerPoint or Excel. That's just full stop. That's just the truth.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Fry me for it, I guess. Yeah. That's why I'm knocking on doors.
Right. Okay.
How crazy is that?
What do you do next?
My best friend from the Marine Corps, who's actually coming out to work with us this summer, or actually he's going to start knocking next week. He calls me a couple months before I quit. He's in San Diego, and I'm stationed in Camp Lejeune before. I obviously want to get to San Diego at some point. Yeah. Backup plan. I had applied to grad school just in case. Yeah. Because you get paid to go to school. Right. And I call him one day when I realized, I got to quit. And I said, you still got that room open? He said, yep. I said, I'll see you in a month. Moved down. Started going to school at University of San Diego, get a Master of Arts in Social Innovation. Okay. Because that was my background before the Marine Corps was nonprofits. Yeah. And family foundation stuff.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Did you finish?
I finished that master's, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And then?
Started working on another master's called an MBA at UCSD because now I'm right back to kind of not step one, but now I'm kind of right back to like, I love San Diego. I want to stay in San Diego.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to a target school anymore. If you're going to go to a school and get an MBA, get it from the best regional school you can.
Yes.
And do that thing.
Yeah.
And so I started that program. Great people. And dude, I was working on other stuff too. Own a couple houses, blah, blah, doesn't really matter. And I just realized like, damn, dude, like I don't want to be like my peers here.
Yeah.
Great people, mid-level managers. And I was like, all this technical work, these technical skills I'm learning, I'm going to pay somebody else to do, or ChatGPT is going to do it for me.
Yeah. I relate, dude. I relate. This is my story. It's not
I love it.
important
No,
in this episode,
I love it.
But once upon a time I went to law school and quit it. And one of the big things in my brain was all of my peers are a certain way and I'm not. And it seems like they're probably who you're supposed to be if you're going to go be a lawyer.
Yep.
And by that same token, maybe I'm not.
Yeah.
So,
dude, that applies to this industry now too.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Right. I want to get deeper on your story at some point.
Yeah. Happy to.
I need to listen to a different episode.
Yeah.
I probably have, but dude, my brain is.
I got an episode.
My brain is scrambled.
10, 20 back.
Okay. Perfect.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah. So moved to San Diego, working on some other things. I was working with this group, called August Mission. Great people. They're an NGO, that does primarily like wartime relief type stuff. So they're doing a lot of work in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I went over there with them in the fall of 2023. And the whole idea was like, hey, like let's broker relationships with key players, key stakeholders in Ukraine's ability to like achieve sovereignty.
Yeah.
And let's partner them with people that have a vested interest in helping them achieve that, but also have a financial interest.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting space to navigate with a lot of hands in the pot.
Totally. Messy.
Yeah.
I mean, good, but messy.
Messy.
Okay. And then next.
So that moved a little bit slower than I was willing to like move with it.
Yeah.
Right. And like just not enough credibility or social proof in that space with the people I was working with.
Totally.
And I think they're doing well now. I hope they are. I don't know.
Yeah.
I drop one thing and I go all in on whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then, dude, I'm, maybe my come to Jesus moment was, January of last year, 2024, got back from a Watt couples cruise.
Okay.
Wild how I ended up on that.
Yeah.
Basically went because me and one of my buddies in Watt were like, dude, how do we get more exposure with like the homies in Watt and their wives, because they're important people to them.
Watt being we are the they.
Yeah.
Men's group, Jimmy Rex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is like, that's how you were in that, right?
Yeah, I was in that.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're on a couples cruise.
Yeah, with a homie from Watt.
Okay.
Just because like, dude, I just wanted to be around the boys.
Yeah.
Because I'm living in San Diego. I don't get much exposure to the guys that like are movers and shakers and like just good people.
Yeah.
And it was, dude, cruises suck.
Yeah.
And of course, nobody really wanted to hang out with us. They want to hang out with their wives.
Yeah.
Whatever. Right. And I got back, dude, I got hammered and was like talking to this girl. And then that week was just so not good in my head. Okay. I just quit drinking. So I quit drinking, literally. Yeah. And then I started going, okay, get a ton of clarity. What do I need to do? What I need to do to start moving this ball forward? Because at that point, dude, I had been going to school for about 18 months.
Yeah. You're just
floating,
passing time,
time, kicking cans.
Right.
Yeah. Living in San Diego, greatest place in the world. And I thought to myself, I said, when have I been most fulfilled in my life? And as a man, at least, it's been when I did something hard that I either succeeded or failed at. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, what was the hardest thing I can do? And professionally, the hardest thing I could think to do professionally was knock on doors.
Wow.
That's insane.
So nobody was actively recruiting you?
Wills Nilsson would say he was.
Yeah.
But if you're good at recruiting, you already know that like recruiting needs to be networking.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's where it's scalable long term as you grow up as a human.
Yeah.
And so we'd become closer over the course of the 18 months or so that we'd known each other. Mm-hmm. And I like talked to a lot of different people in the door-to-door industry and solar, roofs, windows, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Full well knowing the last conversation I would have would be with Wills, and that would ultimately make the determination of where I went and did this
because
thing.
he was your friend. So he was recruiting you, but you kind of made the decision to go do this like a little independently as well.
Oh yeah. We were on a Watt trip the end of that February 2024. And I said, recruit me.
Yeah.
To his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a pitch.
Dude, he had dropped little nuggets here and there. I just said, straight up, recruit me. And I'm the car. It's me, him, Terry Bailey, and maybe somebody else. I can't remember who. And he gave me the pitch, painted the long term, and I said, I'm in. That's it.
Yeah.
We got on a call 3 days later. My shirt's off. I'm hanging out on the beach in San Diego. Garth Massey, the president of sales, gets on the call for 2 minutes with Wills.
Yeah.
He's like, the hell?
Yeah.
That's how you take an interview? I was like, I don't know, sure. And then we went and did it.
It's awesome. So, I'm sure you were intrigued by the earning potentials and all that type of stuff, but you said your big thing was you were remembering times you were fulfilled, and it's when you were doing something super hard.
Yep. Plain and simple.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
And this is, you said this was around January? Or
Yeah, January, February 2024.
Okay. So do you kind of go all in on preseason training,
Dude.
getting dialed, or?
Yeah. No.
No?
I did. Well, it was such a fast turnaround.
Okay.
Because in this space, the biggest thing is getting guys on the doors as fast as you can, right? From a recruiting standpoint.
Yeah. Okay.
Otherwise, they fall off. And that's, I think, probably generally acceptable for most industries
when
it comes to like work and hiring.
Yeah.
And so, dude, I did our online training, which is phenomenal. I listened to every podcast I could from the landing pad, which is the internal podcast that we have at the Grit. And I listened to that stuff on my way to market. And I did the training like literally the days leading up to me moving out of my place in San Diego.
Okay.
Got to market.
When was that?
April 6th of last year.
Okay.
So not even a year.
Yeah.
Iowa. I'm the first one there.
Nice.
Yeah, wild. Actually, when you look back at this, it's so funny. And not able to sell till April 9th, software things, whatever, who knows. And then it was just all in. I mean, it was all in from the get-go, but it was like you didn't really know what it meant to be all in until you like at least talk to your first person trying to do the thing, and then you're like, oh, crap.
Okay, so you're going out there, part of the purpose was just to do something hard, but do you have like a goal you've set? Or
on that call with Wills on the interview, if you will. He said, you're going to be a rookie golden door. I said, cool, make it harder. He said, do $1 million. I said, done.
Fire. Okay. So they're beginning with high expectations.
Yeah. It was super simple. That was all it was. I have no context for what any of that means either. At the time. None. None. Which makes it even more funny.
Yeah. Love it. Okay. And how's your first week go?
So first week is like a half a week.
Okay.
Because I think my first day was a Wednesday.
Yeah.
But I started at 5 p.m. because of software stuff. I'm livid.
Yeah.
Because 2 other guys are out there selling, and I'm like,
you're ready to jump.
I need to be doing this thing too.
Yeah.
Get on the doors. I closed one before getting copped out.
Okay.
At like 7:30 at night. And then I think my first week I sold like 7K maybe, first 3 days or whatever. And then my fourth full day, I think it was a Monday, I sold 9. And so
1,000.
9
or
deals.
Accounts.
9 deals.
Yeah.
They were babies. I didn't know what I was doing. They were tiny little contracts. I didn't have a clue what I was doing, dude. I didn't know anything. I didn't know pricing. I didn't know a thing. Yeah. That was the best part.
Just out there making friends.
Just out there making friends.
Yeah.
Out there doing business, deal flow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, it's comedy. But it was so weird because even now when I look at like my ramp, because we talk to these guys all the time, we say like, what's the ramp in this thing? Doesn't matter where you're at in the industry. It's like, dude, it's for some guys it's the whole summer.
Right.
It takes some guys it's a year. Some guys it's 2 years. But that's a testament to the fact that you can be successful in this if you have persistence and you have the ability to like become disciplined over time and apply lessons that you're taught. Because my ramp was insane.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll ever be. Well, if it's gonna be matched, Brian Wyckoff will do it.
Yeah.
But my headspace was just double my week every week, and I think I did 7K, 13K, 16K, and then all of a sudden 30K, 30K, 40K, 40K weeks.
Nice.
Retarded.
So how'd you do it? Yeah, I mean, how was it? The dedication to training and learning stuff up front, or what do you think?
Dude, I have to give a lot of credit to like Wills and like being there, being present. Like proximity is power in leadership.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't need to, right? He's been in this industry for 10 years. He could totally have been anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Right. But he was willing to be present and be in Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah.
And then I would say me personally, a lot had to do with the guys I was around, really good people. And then me personally, it was like, dude, just like getting right, like spiritually, mentally, physically, all those things. Cause I was in the best shape of my life going into that. which I think plays a big piece to it.
Yeah.
In anything in life, how you show up.
Yeah.
And your ability to show up. But I think, for me, dude, I just went all in. I deleted everything that didn't pertain to making me better at this thing.
Yeah.
The dating apps, the social media, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I cut out every single relationship in my life that wasn't going to serve me getting as good as I could, as fast as I could at that thing, with the intent of being able to bring those relationships back into my life, including family.
So everything's pointing towards this one goal.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Love it. Yeah, it's a hot start, man.
It's crazy.
That's a hot start.
It's scary. Dude, I made, because our pay scale is retroactive,
yeah.
and I'm a rookie.
Yeah.
So I maxed at 50, or I maxed at 50 until whatever. Retroactively, I made $75K my second month.
Yeah.
I mean, back ends have to roll around all this stuff, but like
right,
taxes and nutrition, blah, blah, but like that's absurd.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, your mind's just blown as it's happening. Then again, I bet you're probably not stopping to count.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's where I'm still like, I don't know what's possible.
You start counting your money midsummer, that's a no-no.
That's a huge no-no.
Yeah.
Huge no-no. Yeah, I don't know what's possible. I just know that I love the game.
Yeah.
Like I love the game. I love the challenge. I love the pain.
Yeah. 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 I was listening to a book the other day. It's Patrick Bet-David's.
Okay.
Shoot, what freaking book was it? Choose Your Enemies? No, it's not the Choose Your Enemies one. It's the Your Next 5 Moves.
Okay.
Yeah, he's talking about all the different things that can drive a person.
Okay.
It's like advancement, personal reasons, whatever. He had these 4 categories, and one of them, the fourth one was madness. And I resonated with it so hard. It's like,
I can tell you do.
Yeah, because it's, it's like, it's not necessarily about the money.
No.
It's not necessarily about getting promoted.
Nope.
Just all of these
titles.
In my view, low level, superficial things.
Yep.
It's proving something to
yourself,
myself,
and your God,
potentially somebody.
Yeah.
Kind of deeper. I don't know what I'd call them, like personality things.
Yeah.
Anyway.
For me, it was part of it too, and I shouldn't overlook this is the spirituality side of it.
Yeah.
Because dude, to be completely honest, like, dude, I did a lot of work getting out of the Marine Corps to figure out like who I was, and because you lose your identity, your purpose, and your camaraderie.
Yeah.
Right. And so I did a lot of work, and like, what does that mean? I don't know, but I mean, you know how expensive what was. I paid for a lot.
Yeah.
and got a lot of value out of those things.
Yeah.
And so leading up to that experience in that summer last year, I would say all those things contributed greatly to my ability to go out there and achieve success in that. Mm-hmm. And then from a spirituality standpoint, my good friend John Harsh, who's running our operations, our program in San Antonio, and ideally here in the very near future, like pretty much all of Texas, just fanatical Christian.
Yeah.
Fallujah Marine Corps vet, like, dude, just hard guy, scary.
Yeah.
Was telling me a story that like the kill death ratio in Iraq during the invasion was like 1 to 1,000.
Yeah.
During Fallujah it was like 1 to 100. So it was a little bit harder, but it was still sick. Which is dope.
Right.
But dude, just helped really ground me and still helps keep me grounded in my faith, which I'm still working on, but like that's a journey.
Yeah.
So I would say that's a big part of it too.
Love it. So, because that's a heavy summer, dude. That's a heavy summer. You stayed dialed for 4 or 5 months, 6 months. What'd you do?
I ended up knocking my last door in November because we did a blitz with Mira.
Went to Atlanta.
Yeah. And it was all like, dude, it was like all of our top guys. Like you could not be there. It was once in a
lifetime. That was cool. Experience. I was following along.
Okay.
Yeah, I was following along.
It was cool.
Talk about kind of stamina and staying dialed for that long.
It's everything. It's routine. It's diet. It's all the components of your life.
Yeah.
Right. To mitigate as much turbulence and stress, because if you have an out when you're doing something difficult,
you take it.
Yeah. Right. Dude, in the Marine Corps, we don't have an out. You're stuck.
Yeah.
I don't have an option.
It's kind of like an underrated point. It's like, not taking outs is a skill, but also eliminating outs is a skill too.
Dude, straight up eliminating them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it's eliminating outs and then just getting really, really, really real, because what's hard for me, it's hard for me to relate to rookies.
Yeah.
really anybody, because my ramp, like I can only tell you what I know that I did, but I don't know what works for the masses.
Right.
I know what we believe works for the masses. And I think if we compare those, maybe there's something there. But the reality of it is I've lived a decade more life than the majority of our rookies.
Yeah.
Which means I'm probably more apt to be better at this faster, only because I've had more conversations in life.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking about, dude, before, because I had this whole pre door-to-door career.
Yeah.
And when I got back in, same type of thing as you. I started really hot. And I was thinking about this earlier today before we talked, because I knew we were going to get into this story. And I was like, I don't know if I began more talented. There's probably some little developing of talent just with being more grown and I don't know, whatever, more socially developed.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's the thing. I think the thing was a different perspective and a different approach to career or goals.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be.
I think we'll figure that out. I'm actually really, really, really confident that we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
And when I say we, I think it's like John Harsh, me, Wills Nilsson, Brock Reeve.
Let me say something real quick too on that point. Like, I'm making that point because the thing I'm trying to solve here, that you're going to be trying to solve this next summer, is can I get young kids to think the same way I thought? And I don't know why they couldn't. It's going to be a little like artificial. They're going to have to choose to.
Yeah.
But I think they could.
Yeah.
Because if it's just perspective,
yeah,
you can change your perspective.
Oh yeah.
If there was like a decade worth of talent development, that's tough to duplicate. But I think you can duplicate just like, man, don't think about that this way. Think about that this way.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. I know our plan. It's basically take everything we already know and what we've learned from essentially the most high-powered, the most high-powered organization in the world, the Marine Corps, and template it and make it work for the civilian space and specifically this industry.
Yeah, because it's like, have you had that convo with like a 19 or a 20-year-old where you're like, hey, here's how I was stupid when I was your age. Yeah. You can definitely just be stupid too, or you can just do all the things I'm telling you right now. And my friend, you can never work a day again. Past 30. If you do it right.
And you don't let ego get in the way, and you don't let a girl derail you.
Yeah.
And
it's all true. It's so true. Yeah. They really can. I'm not saying they're going to do it. Yep. But they could.
Yep. I think it's this. I think it's like you love them through it.
Yeah.
Which is tough because like, dude, in the Marine Corps, like, dude, if I had a guy that you're showing up to me and like, I'm going to love you, but like, dude, you're not blood, like actual blood until you actually like either bleed or like you hurt with the rest of us.
Right.
Because you get guys that show up to the unit and within a week they claim SI.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, no, fuck that kid.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's slowing us down. The only thing I can think about is like how to keep my guys alive if we have to go do the thing.
Yeah.
And having a guy claim that he wants to kill himself, it's not helping me keep my guys alive. Now, like him, sure, yes, we're going to make sure he doesn't kill himself. I just don't have the time to deal with it.
Yeah.
So if he did, quite honestly, like, let Chaps deal with it or something.
Yeah.
But like, obviously, I still have to deal with it, so I don't want to kill myself. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I'm 27 at the time. Like, how do I deal with this?
Yeah.
Now apply that lens to this. A lot of these kids are going to come from similar backgrounds.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys or gals are going to come from maybe turbulent places. But you have to address it in a completely different way. Right? Like if there's a formal HR department and a kid comes to me and says he's going to kill himself, HR finds out about it. I no longer work there.
Yeah. Right.
Whether it has anything to do with me or not.
Yeah.
So, dude, the burden of leadership in this space, I don't think anybody puts enough onus on that and what that means.
Yeah.
Because that's what I can teach.
Well, and it's all opt-in, which is different than the military. Well, I guess you opt into the military. The military's opt-in
too. We make this like thing like military's volunteer. It's like you're getting paid.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not discrediting the sacrifice individuals make to do that thing.
Yeah.
But I chose not to date in the military.
Yeah.
I chose not to like have certain relationships outside of my job, my core function for my life, because I knew that like those relationships would suffer.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to do something, do it all the way until you have the ability to bring other things into your life that you can actually put time and effort into.
Right. Right.
Which that's a balance.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. It's going to be, yeah, I don't know.
That'll get you thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know the right answer, dude. I'm 32. I'm not that smart.
Right.
Got a lot of life to live.
So talk about some vision for this next year.
Yeah.
Did you go get your 100 guys or what?
Am I what?
Your 100 guys.
This year I don't want 100 guys, dude.
I'm just playing.
Yeah.
I know you don't.
Fuck. Oh, man. Sorry. Yeah. No, you do. No, you do. No. Now, I spent the majority of my last 90 days kind of orienting.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out, like, dude, what is this industry? Because I don't have any exposure outside of this, and I've intentionally stayed insulated.
Yeah, you had a whirlwind summer.
Yeah.
And then you've had...
Well, I managed in the fall.
3 months.
Dude, so I sold all summer, and then I managed immediately in the fall.
Yeah.
Finishing out a Golden Door.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is not a small feat.
Right.
It's not that hard. It's not a small feat. And then immediately, and then dude, travel, blah, blah, blah. So I spent the last 90 days, like, thinking of, like, okay, like, what are enterprise solutions for, like, the thing we need to address so this business can grow? Everyone wants to say fast, but like intentionally.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And Todd Peterson just came in and spoke to the Grit last night. What an interesting dude.
Yeah.
Right? And has built some incredible things. And I look at through the lens of like, okay, how do I help build enterprise solutions at the ground level for a company that sees itself as a $1 billion company, but currently produces right around $100 million in revenue a year, but has the backing of a billionaire.
Yeah.
So the solutions that I need to create, they can't be siloed in my space. They can't be siloed for my 30 guys or whatever it is. Who cares?
Yeah.
They need to start at my level for the region that I'm in,
yeah.
right? That's how the structure of the business works.
Uh-huh.
But they need to be replicable
yeah.
to the rest of the enterprise.
Yeah.
But where people get scared is this industry is just, we just rip each other off. Yeah. What worked for this company? If it worked for them, let's try it over here next year. Uh-huh. Different company, right? Doesn't matter where you're at in the space.
Yeah.
And so I full well know that that's going to happen. We're putting a lot of time and effort into certain things, but we're creating like exclusive B2B relationships with what I believe to be like really important partners long term. Uh-huh. And that's me thinking about myself and my business long term and the larger enterprise long term, thinking we, not me.
Yeah.
Doing everything I can to think we, not me, which is also difficult in this space because it's extremely egotistical space. And if anybody has an ego, it's me.
Funny space, right?
Oh, it's funny.
So much about the team, but also so much about the individual.
Personal revenue, yes.
Constant duality all the time.
Constant.
Yeah.
And you're between a rock and a hard place nonstop.
Yeah.
Right. But like you learn all these lessons in your life, and so you need to apply the right ones at the right time, and you need to remain malleable, but you can't be you can't necessarily be a chameleon all the time. So you need to be truthfully purely authentic to who you are, but also not be a complete asshole.
Yeah.
Which is tough.
It's a lot.
Which is a lot. Yeah. But I think long term, like my goal right now is I'm building for the long term. Yeah. What does that mean? Dude, I can get really deep in that. And it would require a whiteboard probably. The blessing and curse of having a corporate consulting background for a short period of time. But what I tell people when they ask me my goal and like what I want to achieve and where I want to go, it's like I want to be able to do this thing as sustainably as possible, as long as possible. Duh. And I want to have as much fun as I can for as long as I can doing it. Otherwise, why the hell would I do it?
Yep.
In anything. And what do I love? I love doing the hardest part of it. I love knocking doors.
There you go. It's good.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You have to be a psychopath.
Yeah. Well, it's good though. You know, there's so many guys, their aspiration is to reach a point where they can still make money getting off doors.
Oh, for sure.
It's crazy.
Dude, it's a race to get off the doors.
Yeah.
Let's make it logical.
You guys are kind of purifying that culture a little bit, right?
In regards to like purifying it how?
Like the grit, like
stay on the doors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So yes.
Yeah.
But there's a balance.
Granted, grit was always
nasty,
great with lead.
Scary.
Always great with lead
scary
from the front,
good.
But it seems
scary
like
good.
getting even
Dude,
more so.
These boys are nasty.
Yeah.
These are scary people. Good people. But like they know how to work hard.
Right.
That's what I mean when I say scary.
Grindy,
gritty.
Yeah.
It's a balance.
Yeah.
It's a balance because when you look at your earning verticals, right, you've got your personal production.
Yeah.
That's where I make the most money right now. You've got your recruiting, right, override. You've got your management override. And then you've got what some people want to call equity. You call it an LTIP. You call it whatever you want to call it, profit share, whatever. Yeah. And it's like, dude, based off the 24 hours you have in a day or however many hours you have in a year, where's your time best spent within these verticals? Well, eliminate this one because that one doesn't matter. Because that's just going to be
it's just
based off this production. So don't even worry about that one.
Yeah.
Who cares? At least right now in the business for me. When it comes to management, I know how to manage. I don't like managing, so I don't do it.
Yeah.
If I wanted a job managing for $150,000 a year, I could go get one tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not hard. So it's like, do I really care about that? Yes and no. The answer is not no, I don't care, but it's not yes enough where I want to do it.
It's not your aspiration.
It's not my aspiration. I know I can do it if I need to. So like, where are my earning verticals? Here. But there's also an intrinsic value in a vertical, which is leadership and being able to lead. And who knows what the value there is.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where I'm focused.
You're kind of making me think, isn't it always a crack up when you ask a guy what he's been up to? He's like, oh, I've been spending most of my time recruiting. It's like,
what does that even mean?
Yeah, your thumbs have been moving on
DMs?
On DMs all day.
Don't even get me started, dude.
Yeah.
If we would have sat down 4 weeks ago, yikes. Yeah. I was.
Oh, did you actually do it?
Heated.
Oh, dude, no, what? You were mad at the other guys.
No, other guy. Dude, who's the other guys? Yeah. I'm him. Let's be honest. I'm joking. Yeah. No, it's dude, DM recruiting I think is really stupid. I think it's a tactic and I think it's necessary. I think it has a part in the business, but I think what we need to be promoting is networking.
Yeah.
Because I think this idea of recruiting comes from this culture within Utah.
Yeah.
In regards to like, and I've asked some people and it's probably industry specific, but I think from what I understand, at least in pest, it takes around 3 to 5 times longer to quote unquote recruit/hire somebody from Utah than it does outside of Utah.
Yeah.
And the reason being, I assume, is because there's more competition for those warm bodies in Utah than there are outside of Utah.
Yeah.
Which automatically is going to make that process a little more strenuous.
Totally.
And it's going to create more, you have to have more touch points, different things.
So flesh out, you said networking versus
recruiting.
DM.
Yeah.
DM recruiting.
Yeah.
What's the difference? Explain it. I think I understand, but
I mean, dude, just cold DMing.
Yeah.
It's child's play.
And cold DMing is, there is no value in you when you're cold DMing. Yeah. So what are you about to have? You're about to have.
What are you providing?
You're about to have a really gross financial conversation.
Yeah.
Some
but
kind
where
of race to the bottom thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
And where this matters is how fast do you sift? Yeah. How fast do you sift the talent you're bringing in? Mm-hmm. Right? Because all people see in the corporate world and the business world is numbers on heads. Let's be honest. That's just cut plain. Doesn't matter what I say about who we are. At the end of the day, that's all the key like shareholders are going to see. Yeah. That's just true.
Right.
It's inherently true.
Yeah.
So let's not talk like it's not. So when it comes to like recruiting and like networking, the way I take it is like, I want to bring people into this space that I want to work with as well, which means they probably need to have a little bit higher aptitude, be able to provide me a little bit more value so I can provide them exponentially more value long term. Now, who can I probably provide the most value to is 18 to 24-year-olds.
Yeah.
But how does that help me grow as a 32-year-old with my background in this space other than financially? It doesn't. Yeah. So my motivation is not financial.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I care about those guys, but like I can have a much larger impact if I can source 20 to 40 guys that are similar to me in regards to aptitude and capability that are willing to put 24 months or so into this. Maybe this is the only thing they do for about 24 months because their ability to then lead and manage 20-year-olds versus me leading and managing what's 20 times 40, 800?
Yeah.
800 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
I can have way more impact.
So it's about building leaders.
Yep.
And you probably get those guys who are similar to yourself a little more through the networking than through the cold. Because the other thing, like I said, when you're just cold DMing all the time, there's limited value. So you're about to just essentially compete on pay scale is what you're about to do.
Yep.
But the other thing is, I mean, you guys might not be anything alike. You don't know this person when you just go network.
Yep.
Legitimately to recruit. Then what you can do is recruit people based off affinity.
Yep. Oh, dude, it goes real deep for me.
Yeah. Because
we moved to Arizona to essentially like start or to open an office in Arizona. And I'm seeing this year we'll have about, I'd venture to guess it'll be between 70 and 100 guys living down there, which is huge for us, which is great. Networking, being able to get out and like go to parties, whatever it is, meet people. I'm seeing the 5 or 10 guys that we have there right now on the turnaround, which I renamed the off-season to turnaround. I think I said that. Words mean things. That's a Marine Corps thing. I'm seeing them just sitting there DMing and thinking like, oh, I've got all these guys. DMing, thinking, oh, I got all these guys. Well, I have one rule when I knock on a team. I have the ability to fire anybody at any time for anything if I'm knocking on that team.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're going to bring guys into that space that aren't going to toe the line and hold the standard, which the standard is show up on time, work the hours, and be honest.
Yeah.
If they can't do those things, I'm going to fire them.
Yeah.
So I want those guys going out and living, not DMing.
Yeah.
I want them getting fake IDs if they're 20 and not going out to get fucked up.
Yeah.
I want them going out with me so that if they do get fucked up, I can make sure they get home safe so they can have that experience that I didn't have. But at least I had my aunt who was 50 being, don't drive home, call me.
Yeah.
Right? Like I had those people in my life, which is a huge blessing. But I can be that for those guys at times. But I have to find a way to grow them up faster.
Yeah.
But how I can avoid growing them up faster is if I can just network, source, and actually hire talent that has a higher aptitude in the immediacy on a shorter life cycle.
Yeah.
Because a 30-year-old's life cycle in this business is way shorter than assumingly way shorter than a 20-year-old's life cycle in the business.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And if I can do that, I can get everybody where they want to go faster.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's an industry solution.
Yeah. Agreed.
Give me 10 years.
Agreed. Yeah, that's deep stuff. Yeah, you got to apply it at scale.
Yeah.
So as we kind of wrap up, Jake, any advice you'd like to give anybody? And I say this to everybody. You know, you can speak to whatever demographic you want. Reps, managers, people like yourself. Reps getting in after, you know, a whole previous life.
Yeah. Dude. Industry specific, but I think this is probably of a lot of value outside of like this industry is like trust the people you work with.
Okay.
Like trust the immediate people you work with. Trust your immediate manager. Buy in. And if you have questions, ask the questions. And if people aren't willing to answer the questions that you have, if they don't have the answer, they just don't, at least they should just tell you that they don't have the answer.
Yeah.
If you assume they know the answer or you know that they have the answer and they don't answer the question, then there's something more there.
Yeah.
And just get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
Just get to the bottom of it and figure out what the pathway looks like for you going forward so that they can help you make an educated decision in regards to your career trajectory in this space.
Yeah.
I think that's good advice.
Love it.
Came off right off the top of my head.
Love it. Yeah. Being super candid.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
I don't know how else to do it, dude. Everyone knows it too.
I'm with you.
I love that.
Just free flowing, man. So if our listeners want to catch up with you, where can they do so?
Instagram is the easiest place. It's just Jake Nold. But like once I start selling in April, I'm gonna delete it. But I'll have it monitored.
Yeah.
YouTube, whatever. My phone number. I don't really feel like giving that out, but I could.
They'll Instagram DM you.
No, Instagram,
If
whatever.
You talk to Jake, do it before April.
Or hit up anybody at the Grit. Eventually, we'll cross paths, and I'm not selfish. And all ships rise with the tide. So
that's right. Well, thanks for coming on, dude.
I love it, dude. This is cool.
Tune in next week for another episode. We have them dropping every Tuesday on all major platforms.